Yo, what is up? It's your boy, Chill, back at it again with another video, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I just recently watched The Batman, and I'm just gonna give you like a short little bit of a review, I guess, on my thoughts on it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good that was a really good movie. But instead of doing a full-on review, I thought I'd do something different that I haven't really seen too many people do, is react to somebody else's review on the movie. I decided to pick Ben Shipero. I think that's how you say his name, or his last name. I've seen some other reviews that he has done in the past on movies. A lot of the time I do not agree with his opinions or his takes on things. I always thought it would be fun to do a review on something that he's watched and give my takes on, or opinions on, what he's saying, because I do that in my free time anyways. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. I just want to know like what his opinion is. I just want to see how it compares to mine.
Alrighty folks, so last night I went and I saw The Batman. My review of that is coming up in just one moment. This video is sponsored by Ring.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Also, the soundtrack for this movie was amazing. Peace says otherwise, bro.
So last night I went and saw The Batman. I went and saw it with my wife. It is 1 million hours long. And it's one of those movies where I started off and I was like, okay. And then I got a little further in, and I was like, all right. And then I got to the end, I was like, meh. And then the more I thought about it, the angrier I became. And so you're about to hear
the movie made him angry.
Hot takes on The Batman, because I hate this movie. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to tell you right up front, spoilers. Spoilers aplenty here. So if you haven't seen the film yet, and you want to see the film, and you don't want to be spoiled, I'm warning you. You've been warned. All right, this is Detective Batman. So if the original Michael Keaton Batman was sort of crime-fighting Batman, and the Christopher Nolan Batman was city-saving Batman, this Batman is supposed to be Detective Batman. And this has a long...
And I'm going to pause it a lot during this video. And that is one of the things I really, really loved about this. It was Detective Batman. But he's not as good as he would be further down the line, because it's only his second year as Batman. So he's smart and like intelligent, but he's never actually had to deal with, or he has dealt with like criminals and stuff, but probably nothing like this. So for someone to be like the Riddler, who is kind of like the Zodiac killer, who I've heard that they based the Riddler off of for this movie, it made a lot of sense that he wouldn't catch on to things right away, because again, it's his second year and it's not something that he's dealt with a lot. So I thought that was perfectly fine. But the take on the Batman I thought was cool because of the detective work.
Long history in the Batman comics. Some of the best Batman comics, particularly my favorite, The Long Halloween, is rooted in the idea of Batman not just as Caped Crusader, but as a great detective. Smarter than everybody else, capable of picking up on clues, investigating and tracking down crimes. I'm going to start with what's right with the film, because it's going to be real short. So what's right with the film is that it looks great.
It's going to be real short?
Take on Gotham City. It almost feels kind of like retro Taxi Driver Gotham.
I was going to say that as well. Not the retro Taxi Driver or whatever, but I really loved how this film looked. Even like when I was watching it in the movie theater, I sat to myself and I was like, this seems very noir. Like it has like this noir film style to it, but also the way that the city looked, it was almost like a New York, but kind of gave me like this weird Blade Runner type vibe to it. I haven't heard anyone else say that for their reviews or anything for the movies, but it gave me like this Blade Runner type vibe. And I'm not talking about like the new Blade Runner, I'm talking about like the old Blade Runner. I think it's just like the way that the city looked, especially there's this one shot where he's walking in the rain and it's on Halloween and everybody's dressed up in these costumes, and it gave me like that like in the old Blade Runner, that when he's walking through, I think it's California, and there's like the symbol, like the Chinese or like Japanese symbols, or like the different language symbols, and it just gave me that vibe. So I thought that was really cool, especially the diner scene. The diner scene, for whatever reason, stood out to me as like that Blade Runner type vibe, the one that he was just showing. Beautiful.
Everything is very dirty. It's all taking place at night. It's shot in kind of grayscale at times. It's got a lot of warm oranges and reds, but against a very dark black. So it's a lot of muttered dialogue. It feels as though it's taking place in the same city as Joker is taking place. So if you saw
like
Joker,
in the future,
Joker, which looks like 1970s New York, it feels almost like the other half of that, but it seems more like the take on what future New York would look like if you were living in New York in 1970.
See, I agree. I agree with him.
The music to the film is okay. I think that Michael Giacchino needs to be a little bit primitive when he does the scores to the films. This one, he basically takes the music that Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard wrote for Batman Begins in the Nolan trilogy, which the theme goes da-da, and here he just inverts it. So instead of da-da, it's da-da. Okay, fine. So it's a little bit derivative. But the score is totally fine. The acting is okay, as we'll find out in a second. They give Robert Pattinson nothing to do as Batman. Nothing to do as Batman. I didn't think that Zoe Kravitz had any sort of chemistry with Robert Pattinson. So she's fine. She's kind of flirty. I didn't see anything particularly wrong with her performance. I just didn't see a lot right with her performance. You have John Turturro showing up as Carmine.
I didn't see much wrong with her performance, but I didn't see much right with her performance. So what is it? Like, what is... is there a medium? Is that the medium? There is nothing wrong and there is nothing right, so it's just like... It was just kind of like in the middle. I mean, I guess that's why he said it was just meh. But like, I don't know. That's how could you, like, his takes are just so weird. his takes are so weird already.
Ryan Falcone.
We're only 2 minutes in.
John Turturro, so he's okay. He's somewhat menacing. The best performance in the film is Colin Farrell playing the Penguin. You literally cannot spot Colin Farrell in this makeup. There is no. I
would agree. The Penguin was pretty good in this movie.
The whole movie, I'm staring at him going, "That's not Colin. It is Colin Farrell." It's the best performance in the movie. Paul Dano gives a good performance in the film, although he's sort of playing the Joker a little bit, although he's playing it more wide-eyed, as Paul Dano is apt to do. The main character of the film is the Riddler, and herein lies the main problem with the film. The biggest problem with the film is that the film hates Batman. Like, the actual Batman character.
What?
What? This drives me up an absolute wall. The biggest problem with the film is not the wokeness. Yes, there's some woke touches. You have Catwoman, who is a woman of color, who is, of course, good, and you have the black female mayor, who is good, and you have the black Jim Gordon, who is good. Every white character is apparently bad, like all of them. Fine, whatever. I don't really care about that. That's fine. You have Catwoman.
Oh, snap. Is that true? Is every white person in the movie bad? I mean, Batman's white. He's not bad. Is every white person in the movie bad? No way. I think you might be right on that. That's a weird thing to point out, though. And like, what? Like, how did he even realize that? I didn't even realize that.
Say stuff about white privileged elites, and she makes a suggestion that Bruce Wayne as a child, when his parents were killed, he doesn't really have a right to be super upset about that because, of course, he was very, very rich. That doesn't kind of rings hollow. You know, a lot of the...
Wait, who said that? I'm gonna go back and see what he said there.
And she makes a suggestion that Bruce Wayne as a child, when his parents were killed, he doesn't really have a right to be super upset about that because, of course, he was very, very rich. That doesn't kind of rings hollow. You know, a lot of these lines seem like throwaways for film lefty Twitter, but the main theme is not a throwaway. The main theme is what matters here. The film despises Batman. So every Batman iteration has to explain why a man who is a billionaire would dress up like a bat and go around beating up criminals. It's not answered. And the director doesn't know. And the writer doesn't know. And this is the problem. So in the note...
It is answered. He answers it in two different ways. He answers it the first way by doing things the violent way because he thinks that's what the city needs. He wants people to be afraid of him. He literally states that in his whole opening monologue on like why he's doing it. And I think that he begins to like question why he's doing it or what he's doing is working. But at the end, again, he has a whole nother monologue where he talks about how the city needs hope, which I'm going to wait to touch on that because I wonder if he'll touch on it, because that whole hope thing, when I first heard it too, I was like, oh, so he's Superman. And then the movie further explains itself and you realize what he's saying, but I think I want to see what he has. I think that might be the reason why he's saying that the movie hates Batman, but we'll see. We'll see.
The Nolan films, to take the contrast, the question as to why Batman does this is because if Batman does not actually intimidate the criminal underworld because the city is so corrupt, no one else will do it, and money isn't going to solve the problem. And so he needs to create a theatrical kind of fear in order to dissuade the criminal underworld from participating. And then, as it turns out, he also has to save the city.
He's going to use the Nolan film as like
by becoming a symbol. Here, you don't really know why Batman is doing what he's doing.
He's going to use the Nolan film the whole time. I can already tell.
He doesn't apparently do anything with his wealth. He doesn't try to give charity. He doesn't. I mean, this actually made a plot point. He's a bad man because he's white. He's a bad white man who doesn't actually give charity. He's not involved, and he's not playing that as a.
No, they never said he was bad. They're just saying that he is not helping, like, and they think that he should be helping. They never made it a point to say that he's bad. They're just saying that there's things that he can do to help, and he's not helping. And the reason why he's not helping, which they've talked about in the film, is because he's helping by being Batman. That's the way he thinks he's helping. He doesn't care about being Bruce Wayne because Batman is more important in his eyes than being Bruce Wayne, because in his eyes he's thinking, what can Bruce Wayne do compared to what a superhero or vigilante can do for the city? So that is what, like, did you even watch the movie, bro? Did you watch the movie?
Again, this is part of the problem, is that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same character. So if you, I keep using the Nolan comparison because it is the gold standard for all superhero movies.
It's not.
Batman movies. So
it's not.
When you look at Nolan's Batman, Bruce Wayne is the character that Batman is playing. Okay, Bruce Wayne is not real. Batman is real. Batman is who Bruce Wayne really is. And so he has to play a fob. In Batman Begins, he's squiring around ladies in his Lamborghini, and he's buying hotels, and he's doing all of this just to cover up for the fact that he is Batman. So you get very separate Batman and Bruce Wayne. You get the same thing.
If you're basing it off the Nolan films, then yes, that's what he did to further himself away from Batman, so that it makes it a lot harder for people to tell that he's Batman in the Nolan films. I've never seen any animations, any comic books, or anything where he's ever done that besides in the Nolan film. And maybe like I think he's gonna point out Michael Keaton's Batman as well, but I don't even think he did that in Michael Keaton's Batman. He's always just been rich, and it explains how he does these things. It's almost like it's an altered. It's a secret identity, but the way that he separates it in the comics and like in the animation and stuff like that is just like by being rich and giving to charity, like they said in the movie that he doesn't do. And I mean, it's again year 2 Batman, so he doesn't fully understand where he fits in the world yet, I guess. And so it just, I don't even know like how to explain it in a way that he would understand, because he obviously wasn't watching the movie. I think once he realized how much wokeness was in this movie, that's where all his focus went. And I think that is truly what made him upset. Again, that's just my opinion.
Batman and Bruce Wayne are two different characters. Here, Batman and Bruce Wayne are the exact same character. There are points where Bruce Wayne is walking around. He's got the same dour expression, same glazed look, same kind of emo thing going on as Batman does the entire movie. And so there's no dichotomy. Alrighty, folks, well...
There is. And I'm going to bypass your ad, bro. There is. So people aren't going to look at him as Batman because they probably think that he is at home in this mansion alone, living, doing whatever, because he's sad. He lost both of his parents. And so it's not like it's not like he's doing anything as Batman to show that he has a bunch of money yet. He hasn't shown that. Batman hasn't shown, or I guess in this movie, he hasn't shown that he has a bunch of money yet. Yes, he has these gadgets and things, but it really just seems like he just has this suit and he hides in the darkness. No one really knows what he has yet. When they first show the Batmobile, the Penguin looked at it as if it was something that they've never seen before. Even Commissioner Gordon looked at it as something that he had never seen before. So he hasn't really shown that he has money yet. So it's just that Bruce Wayne just looks sad right now. And so I was kind of cut off. But the thing that I was saying was Bruce Wayne just looks sad because of the things that happened, the tragedy that happened with his parents. So I don't think anyone's looking at him as, oh, that's the Batman because he looks sad because he is sad because of his parents. So I got cut off. My camera got cut off, so I don't really know where I was at. But he's talking about they were introducing people. And I said that was one of the things I really loved because it's showing that these people live in this world. They live inside Gotham City, and they're giving them little introductions here and there. And I also said that I was going to jump ahead a little bit because I talked about Joker as well, them introducing Joker. I liked because it just shows that Joker is part of this world, but I also didn't like because we've already had like almost 3 different iterations of Joker. We've had Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and then we've had Jared Leto's almost two different versions of Joker, long-haired Joker, and then gangster Joker. So I was just like, we don't really need a 4th Joker in the span of a few years. But I just thought it was interesting that they introduced this Joker. I would have liked them to maybe introduce a different villain, but it's kind of cool that they introduced like a younger Joker, one that maybe he's already faced when he was maybe in his first year of being Batman, and maybe he just had got dumped in that vat of acid because he did look pretty rugged. So, but yeah. Let's see what else he has to say.
In this film is apparently just to say Jesus over and over again.
This Coulson.
Whenever something bad happens, he just goes, Jesus. And that happens like 6 times. Like, Jim Gordon does nothing except for basically stop Batman from getting arrested a lot. That's pretty much all he does. He's a bad detective. He doesn't do anything. The plot is that all these people kill Batman and covers it.
What? No, like, Jim Gordon and Batman's relationship I thought was really cool because they have already established that he has the bat signal already. So and like it's showing that he trusts Batman and knows that Batman is actually trying to do good. Like I again, his takes are so weird because it's like he's just trying to find negative things to say. I don't know. Maybe this is just a way for him to get views because people are just gonna comment like you have no idea what you're talking about and like try to explain to him what actually happened in the movie as he plays dumb and acts like nothing really happened in the things that he's saying happened in the movie didn't actually happen. So then he gets people to comment and then that's how he gets further into the algorithm. I have no idea because if this guy is serious, like he needs to go back and rewatch the movie. But then again, he has takes like this on almost every movie that he has seen, any like popular movie that he has seen. And again, I think this ties back to like the wokeness that he keeps talking about. I think that's his biggest issue with the movie, and he keeps going back to that. And I think once that was shown in the movie, that's the only thing he focused on.
If he realizes that his dad was corrupt also, or that his dad engaged in corruption with Carmine Falcone, finally we get to
which
the
was
end.
good.
Paul Dano does it's such a ripoff of Seven. He gives himself up. He doesn't get captured by Batman. Batman does not prevent a single one of these deaths. Batman, in fact, is complicit in one of the deaths by accident. And he doesn't actually capture the Riddler because he's clever. The Riddler gives him...
I'm sorry for pausing it again. The one death that he doesn't prevent, I mean, the guy wasn't going to give himself up. And so that's not really on Batman. Batman was like helping him the whole time. It was a death that could have been prevented, but if the dude didn't want to go, didn't want to snitch, he didn't want to snitch, bro. That's not Batman's fault. Also, I really liked that. It sounds bad, but like I really liked that there was so much like tragedy in the story, because it's his second year. He's new.
Himself up by sitting in a diner and getting arrested. Then he unleashes a bombing of Gotham that essentially causes the flooding of the city. And Batman goes to the Madison Square Garden, where a mayoral event is now being held for the brand new mayor, who is an uplifting black female who has no other story or backstory, so she's really uninteresting. It starts to flood, and up on top, in the wings, are a bunch of Paul Dano's followers.
They literally, since the beginning of the movie, have shown why she was important. They've literally shown why she's important. I think it's the character, maybe. The character, maybe he's saying there was no... They didn't really say much about her, like but like from the beginning, she has been like the mayor that Gotham pretty much needs, because she's the one that's trying to actually make a change. Again, his takes are just trash. Also, this ending scene, beautiful. I loved when the water came in. It felt very Titanic to me, and Titanic is one of my favorite movies. It just felt Titanic. Like it's not very similar to Titanic, but like just like the water coming in and everything just felt very Titanic to me, especially the scene when all the water came in inside of the stadium. Just beautiful, amazing.
Followers.
The cinematography in this was fire.
Like the Riddler, and they are shooting down into the crowd to try and kill members of the elite in Gotham City. And so Batman goes up there and he's beating people up. There comes a point where he's beating this guy, and he's really, like, maybe beating him almost to death. And he stops, and they take off that guy's mask, and they say, "Who are you?" And the guy says, "I am vengeance." Okay, now this is the theme throughout the film.
Important.
Okay, so in order to explain why this is a problem, you have to now understand the character of the Riddler. So it says right at the beginning of the movie, "Who is Batman? I'm vengeance," right? He's just on the streets and he's beating people up. I'm vengeance. And then people keep calling him Mr. Vengeance for no apparent reason. And we don't know why they're calling him that.
That's literally the reason. So obviously it was sent from him, like maybe from his first iteration, his first year. Whenever someone asks, "Who is that?" or "Who are you?" he's obviously has been saying, "I'm vengeance." Word obviously gets around because now there's a freaking bat signal in the sky, and people know like when that bat signal is there, this dude might be hiding in the shadows. Who's hiding in the shadows? Vengeance, because they don't probably know that this dude goes by Batman. He's just vengeance, but he dresses like a bat for whatever reason. So, wow. Just wow.
He never actually publicly says he's vengeance. It's in his creepy diary, which again is supposed to be a mirror image of the fact that the Riddler.
He never publicly says it.
Diary. So they're supposed to be.
He literally just said he never publicly says it.
Follower of the Riddler's, he takes off his mask, and the guy says, "I'm vengeance," and suddenly Batman sees. Suddenly Batman realizes he can't be vengeance. That's not what he's meant to do. He's betrayed his mission. And so he then descends on an electrified cable because he's trying to stop people from being into the water. He rebaptisms him, he gets up, and then he proceeds to lead a bunch of people who are not really trapped, but kind of trapped, I suppose. And he leads them to, I guess, a safer place by carrying a torch. And then he goes up to the top of Madison Square Garden, and he is helping people be airlifted and medevaced out. And this is how he has learned fulfillment. So, what is this movie about? This movie is about how fighting criminality does not actually help innocent people. He says this at the very beginning. He says, "I'm not sure I'm doing any good. Not sure I'm doing any good. I fight criminals. Crime is still up." It turns out that Batman has to stop being Batman. Batman has been missing it the whole time. What Batman really has to be is Superman. Batman needs to go into areas like Madison Square Garden and not fight the criminals.
Bro.
He needs to go and lead people with a torch.
I knew it.
Area. He needs to help medevac people on the top of the He needs to build habitat for humanity. He needs to join Jimmy Carter.
But literally what he's saying right now is, like, he has to build medevac, he has to do whatever, all this stuff, is literally what I think, and I might be wrong because, again, I'm not the director. I think that might be the direction that Bruce Wayne would have to go to, because as Bruce Wayne, he would have to do these acts because he has the money, he has the power to do so, and that's something that he thought his family was trying to do with the whole, I forgot what it was called, and he sees the heirs of his father, because the sins of the father are the sins of the son situation, and this whole vengeance thing, like, he realizes the errors in his ways, and it's just he sees that when the guy says he's vengeance, that literally the Riddler, in which the Riddler even says is he thought that they were partners because he believed that what he was doing, Batman would be happy that he was doing for whatever reason. And that's explained in the movie. So, yet again, that's why I'm like, did you even watch the movie, bro? Did you even watch the movie? Did you just, like... Or do you really need everything explained to you? I think he just literally need them to be like, yeah, I can't do this, I can't act like this anymore because of such and such. I need to act like this because of such and such. I think he needs it thoroughly explained to him, which is, he's one of those people that would literally sit there and complain that the story was explained to him the whole time, and he would have complained that he didn't need an explanation for everything, but he's literally complaining because he doesn't have an explanation for everything. So he's one of those people you just can't make happy, bro. You just, no matter what you do, he's gonna be mad. He's gonna be annoyed.
Carter and build houses for homeless people. That's what Batman needs to be doing. This really is a sort of attack on the idea that fighting crime helps innocent people. It's an almost defund the police attitude.
Oh my
and it's an attack
God.
On the basic idea that individuals are capable of doing justice by finding bad guys and fighting them. Instead, apparently, individuals are only capable of doing nice things by helping little old ladies cross the street. It's this sort of mentality that has led to New York turning into Gotham City in the last couple of years, by the way. That's a fundamental betrayal of what Batman is. What makes Batman different from the Riddler and than any of these other criminals is these criminals target innocent people, and Batman targets criminals. That's the basis of the character. The entire basis of the character is the cops are bad at targeting criminals because they're corrupt. Batman is good at targeting criminals because he's smart, and because he's rich, and because he's incorruptible. That's the entire basis of Batman. And they take all that and they flip it on its head because they don't like Batman. And this is why I have real problems with the movie.
I think it's because they liked Batman that they did it the way that they did it. Also, this Batman is supposed to be a Batman that lives realistic to our world. So, to live realistic in our world, you have to change how Batman is and how Batman would be perceived in this day and age. And that is what they had to do. It's not a whole defund the police mentality. Gotham has always been corrupt. You don't like woke Batman, but because of the whole defund... Again, I think this all stems from the whole... You found out that... Not even found out. You think you saw, or you seen things that lead you to believe that this was woke agenda or whatever, and you attacked everything in this movie, and you just didn't care anymore after things that were shown to you that had a woke agenda to it, and you're just like, you know what, I'm done with this movie, I don't care about this movie anymore. I think that's truly what happened.
I kind of hate the movie. Like, the more I think about it, the more I get angry at it. Because they take the fundamental idea of what Batman is supposed to be, the protector of the innocent who targets the criminal, and they say that if he targets the criminal, this makes him no different than criminals. Because Paul Dano, who's the Riddler, is also targeting criminals. All the way up until the very end, when they have to just sort of add on this attack on Madison Square Garden and New York Broad Writ for no reason. He has no motivation for blowing up a bunch of trucks and flooding downtown. Like, none. He doesn't explain why he does it. He doesn't explain what the purpose of it is. All the way along, he's been saying, I'm exposing the true face of Gotham. Okay, that's a rationale. But what does that have to do with blowing up the city? They add that on just so that...
I mean, Gotham is corrupt. Also, dude's a psycho. So, I mean, he was already doing things that were going to hurt other innocent people anyways. So, dude's a psycho. That's literally all it comes down to. Yes, he's hurting people that were corrupted, but at the end of the day, some of the things that he was doing could have hurt other people, like having a car run through a building where there's a bunch of people in there. Not all those people are bad, but he could hit someone, almost kill the kid. Bomb going off can hurt a lot of people, but I don't know, man. It's just there's reasons. You just have to think
between Batman and the Riddler, so that Batman can change his mission. So now Batman's mission is not beating up bad guys and stopping bad guys. Now Batman's mission is to be a firefighter. He's no longer a detective or a police officer. He's a firefighter. That's a betrayal, and it's a real problem. And that's my biggest issue with the film. It just feels like such a...
Also, I'm pausing it a lot. I know. I'm sorry. Also, I'm pretty sure there was... I'm blanking on it, but there's an animated series. I think maybe it's the animated Batman, where the Batman is trying to save people, and I think it's a kid or something, but the kid is scared of him, and I think that's when his suit might have been a little bit different, but he decided to make his suit a little bit more friendlier, I guess, in a way, to make it so that he doesn't appear so scary to the people that he's not trying to scare, that aren't doing harm or causing harm. So again, he's always been there for the people who need it, but he has to strike fear into the people he needs to strike fear into. So it's just, he has to find that balance, and I think that's what this movie literally is saying at the end, is that he just has to find a balance. Gotham needs hope right now because their whole Gotham is underwater. Gotham is flooded, so they need hope. They don't need to be scared right now. They need a helpful figure, which was beautiful at the end, by the way. The whole stretcher scene was amazing, and he's just not getting it, and it's sad.
A sellout. It feels like such a sellout of what Batman is supposed to be. Again, it's got a little bit of woke politics, but that's really not the problem. The problem is,
I think that is the problem for you,
orientation of the film. If the Nolan Batman was about the idea that you help innocent people by fighting criminality and provide an inspiration to people to fight criminality, if that's the idea of Batman, which it is, that's completely thrown on its head here. Matt Reeves, who's credited as both a director and a writer on the film, he does not like Batman, and I can't get over this. How do you give $150 million to a dude to make a movie about Batman when he clearly does not like Batman? When he thinks that Batman is bad, and that Batman
wasn't his professor or something, like the creator of, or not the creator, but he had some involvement with The Long Halloween. So I just think that it's funny that he's saying that he doesn't like Batman or doesn't care for Batman or hates Batman, when the reason for, I don't even... It doesn't matter. Let's just finish the video.
Show the error of his ways and learn to be a nicer human being. By the way, at the very end of the movie, Catwoman, who at no point has actually demonstrated any sort of moral bona fides. I'm not sure she does a moral thing in the entire movie. At the very end, she says to him, "Why don't you run away with me? And we'll go rob some hedge fund CEOs." And he doesn't say back to her, that's bad to rob hedge fund CEOs. Instead,
I do agree with that.
Thinks about it for a moment. She's like, "No, you belong in Gotham." The generalized cheap left-wing sensibility is very silly with regard to Catwoman. If I have not made clear at this point, the movie's also 8 hours long. It's like a Wagnerian ring cycle, this film. It just goes on and on and on. Every shot is composed in order to have people walk across rooms. Like Christopher Nolan would snap that cut right to the action. If you watch Dark Knight, there is no wasted motion in that film, and it's 2.5 hours.
Bro, why are you comparing it to Christopher Nolan so much? Get off his dick, bro. It's starting to piss me off. It's a different movie. And that is why I didn't want them to introduce Joker, because I knew this would happen. People love Heath Ledger so much that they're just going to keep talking about Heath Ledger's Joker. And I understand, Heath Ledger's Joker is amazing. But like, that is why I don't think having another Joker so soon, and it's not even soon, like in comparison to Heath Ledger's Joker, it's not even soon to have a different Joker. It's that we've had Jared Leto's Joker and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker that I really care about. Heath Ledger's Joker is there, but it's just so out of my mind when I'm watching this movie, because I understand that they're separate. Just keep them separate. Stop comparing the two. It's a different take. That would be like me comparing it to the weird wacky Batman movies where Batman has nipples. Like, I'm not where the Batsuit has nipples, bro. I'm not gonna compare it to that, because if I did, this movie would shit on that movie so hard. And I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey as the Riddler is hilarious. It's funny, it's crazy, but I would not even compare the two because they're so different. Nolan's film and this film are different. It has a whole trilogy also to back itself up, like to all your points. It's like the same thing that people said, which I wonder if you have a review on this. Just like what people said about Spider-Man. People were hating on Spider-Man for the longest time because he gets help from Tony Stark. He just keeps getting help. He's Iron Man Jr. Iron Jr. So like, the trilogy wasn't finished yet. The story wasn't finished yet. Just give it some time.
This is
damn.
As long as it feels like I never check my watch during movies, particularly not a Batman movie, and I check my watch at least twice during this film. It's better than Marvel, because everything's better than Marvel, because Marvel doesn't take characters seriously, and Marvel feels like cotton candy. This doesn't feel like cotton candy, it just feels like a fundamental betrayal of the character, which is just, it's lazy writing, and more than that, it's not nice to the audience. The audience wants to see Batman be Batman, and be good at being Batman, and know why he's being Batman. They don't want to see Batman learn the lesson that being Batman is bad. That defeats the purpose of going to a Batman film. Alrighty, so that is my review of The Batman. I know, a lot of people really like the movie because, hey, it's Batman. It's hard to dislike Batman, but folks, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and recommend some other movies that are coming up in the near future you'd like to see me review, or just leave a comment below. And
I'm not going to recommend any movies to you, bro. You don't like movies. You don't like movies. You don't like movies, bro. I don't know what you watch. I mean, obviously you like the Nolan films, which I wonder if you were doing reviews at that time, because I would love to go back and watch a review of you watching the Nolan films, because you probably didn't like it. You probably didn't like it back then. I feel like you just hate on movies just to hate on movies. You just hate things just to hate things. You seem like you just hate fun. Like, you're just Squidward, bro. You act like Squidward. Just shut your squeaky ass voice up and go play a clarinet. Cause like that's just literally like you just hate life. that's literally what I'm getting from you. No, I'm joking. It's a joke. I'm joking. But I'm not recommending you any movies. I'll go and watch a review. I'm gonna look to see if you have a review of Spider-Man, because especially the newest Spider-Man, because I want to know like what you think of that, like especially because the ending was kind of sad, and you just said that something about Marvel being cotton candy or something. I don't know. So I'm wondering what your take on the new Spider-Man was or is.
Tell me how wrong I am, or maybe how right I am.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that's literally what he wants. He wants people to like argue with him in the comments. I feel like that's literally what he wants, bro. Damn, that's crazy. So, done with the reaction now. I know I've been gone. I've been procrastinating. I've been debating on coming back. And after filming this, I know this is going to be a bitch to edit because it cut off in the middle of me recording for whatever reason. My phone was acting up. I filmed this on my iPhone, and I just know this is gonna suck to edit. But this has been your boy Chill. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, peace. Damn, bro. You just... I think you need to just go back and rewatch the movie. I think your take was worse than my take on Dune.